Fit for an Autopsy are back with a new album, and this is...
You were so busy writing a review, you didn't work out the intro, did you?
This video is...
Say something, you're losing them, you have to entertain.
This video...
All eyes are on you, you dipshit, they see all.
Being that I'm gonna talk...
Think on your feet, man, improvise.
Did you know...
You can do it.
That a Greek-Canadian man invented the Hawaiian pizza? You're on your own, mate. I'm out of here. Apparently, the gentleman who did it was called Sam Panopoulos and came from Greece to Canada in his 20s and tried pineapple on the pizza, and the tin had Hawaiian on it. That's... Welcome back to another video, and this week we're going to be taking a look at Fit for an Autopsy with their new album, Oh What the Future Holds. Fit for an Autopsy formed back in 2008 in New Jersey, and I believe this is their 6th album following The Sea of Tragic Beasts back in 2019, which is at this point the only other album of theirs that I've actually heard so far, and I enjoyed very much. And this is their 2nd album via Nuclear Blast Records. The band members are Pat Sheridan on guitars and backing vocals, Josean Orta on drums, Tim Howley on guitars, Joe Badalotto on vocals, Peter Spinazzola on bass, and Will Putney, guitarist and producer extraordinaire. Apparently Ice-T described him as the Dr. Dre of metal, which is pretty damn high praise indeed. It ain't nothing but a G thing. Don't do that. So let's get straight into the songs, and the album starts off with the title track itself, Oh What the Future Holds. Beginning with a somber piano line that slowly builds before the band erupts and Joe joins in with some furious death growls. In just under 3 minutes this sets the album up nicely. Somber, melancholic passages mixed with titanic riffage. I was supposed to say aggressive titanic riffage, I've actually got the script right in front of me. Next up is Pandora, which is the 2nd single to be released from the album. A genty technical death metal riff sets this one off, and we get some fantastic drumming from Josean. Joe joins the fray and sounds furious. The song transitions from haunted passages into vicious breakdowns.
All is calm, but then comes the killing.
And there was even a really clean melancholic section that actually brought to mind Radiohead. I'm not singing that bit. I assume that the lyrics are addressing many of the shitstorms that have gone down in America and, well, quite frankly, the world over the past couple of years. The curse of coercion, two sides of a horrid mask, distorted dependence, loyalists to the falsest flags, wet work on the wasteland, whitewashing the rubble. It's never too many graves, it's always not enough shovels. We also get a beautiful guitar solo thrown in for good measure, and that sees us out of this song. Next up we have the 1st single to be released from the album, Far From Heaven. I really loved the main riff in this one, very reminiscent of Gojira, and it actually really reminded me of Another World. And Joe's vocals also reminded me of Joe Duplantier. It kind of reminded me of what was the opening track from Magma, Shooting Star, was it? Kind of that more, that cleaner but more ethereal, spacey kind of vocal that Joe Duplantier does. This morphs back into more of the band's own heavy sound, and there's a great riff that goes along with the verses that really complements what Joe is doing with the vocal passages on this one. I really enjoyed this song a lot. Acolytes, dealers of death, a shortness of breath, plagued by the parasites. The bodies regress, abused and oppressed. The mind is weaponized, put to the test. The children of war will quench their appetite with a lust for earth to flood in sulphur and blood. Goddamn computer went off then. Pretty intense imagery is conjured up by these lyrics, and in fact, a lot of the lyrics throughout the album. This is a real banger, this song. I enjoyed this one a lot. Next up we have the 3rd single to be released from the album, In Shadows. This one starts out with a real slow stomping riff, and Joe sounds his most death metal. There's even a hint of pig squeal before the pace ups, as does the technicality. This one was probably one of my favourite of the singles. I really enjoyed they really seem to have a mastery of melding that melodic with the brutal. This was another song that I felt had elements of Gojira towards the end of the song in particular, but I really do think that this band makes it their own. Next up we have the final single to be released from the album, which was Two Towers. Very moody intro on this one. Yet again, more Gojira vibes, but Joe's vocals this time took on a more Chino from the Deftones kind of tone. I also really enjoyed the bass line from Peter on this song. Really sets the vibe up on this one well. About a minute in, we get a more chugging riff and the vocals take on a much more aggressive tone. The chorus sounds great, furious double bass work, precise riffing, and Joe sounds demonic. One soul remains locked in 2 towers, one soul betrayed, except the things you cannot change. Things step up at around the halfway point on this one, and there was a part of this section that reminded me very much of Strapping Young Lad's Alien album, sort of in the production especially, which wouldn't surprise me at all. You know, Devin's such an influential producer at this point in time. This then transitions into a groovier sounding bridge, and then we got some really nice, a real nice guitar solo with clean vocals underneath. It was quite a nice finish to this one. This was another highlight on the album for me. This was great. Next up, A Higher Level of Hate. This one starts out with an echoing drum pattern and what sounds like a distorted bass, although it could well be guitar at these low tunings, before going into this kind of jagged kind of riff that brings to mind Meshuggah and Gojira. Meshuggah. I really enjoyed the vocal patterns in this one. The guitar work was stellar. We got a huge breakdown section at around the 3/4 mark before returning to the refuge. The next song is Collateral Damage, and this one takes a lot of twists and turns throughout the song. Starting out with fast-picked guitar lines and double bass work, we then go into this sort of slower, genty section, and there was also an element. There was a section in this that kind of reminded me of Ashes of the Wake and, you know, As the Palaces Burn era Lamb of God. Had that kind of really old school Lamb of God at their finest, let's be honest. And it has to be said as well that I do really find a very Randy Bly quality to Joe's vocal as well, his harsh vocal in particular, obviously. Along with some more traditional deathcore breakdowns, we get a melodic guitar lead line, and we also get another section that reminds me of something that could have come from, again, Gojira, and more specifically their Magma sort of era. The next song is Savages, and much like the name would suggest, this one is another banger. The guitaring on this track was fantastic. Fast-paced technical elements of death and black metal, blast beats, metalcore. Well, isn't that deathcore? And the chorus as well, we are all savages, is I can just imagine this one going down really well live. Brutal tune. The penultimate song is Conditional Healing, and this song is brutal as fuck. If you're looking for a great song to put in your workout playlist, then I think this one could well be on it. Pummeling riffage, hard-hitting drums, and Joe sounds furious on this one. How many more mothers have to bury their sons, you sick motherfucker? Sure, it doesn't take a genius to work out the target of these lyrics, but I think you can probably understand exactly why he sounds so pissed off in this one. This is a great song. I really, really enjoyed this one. And then we get the final track on the album, The Man That I Was Not. Drum and bass sets the tone on this one, along with glassy guitar lines and some clean vocals from Joe. Things get heavier around the 1:30 mark, and this was another one that I felt had comparisons to Lamb of God as well. I've not really looked too much into the band to see what sort of comparisons have been compared to the band, but that's what I picked up on. Why am I doubting myself? This song kind of reminded me a little bit of their Lamb of God's Vigil. Not that it sounds like that, but a similar tone, similar atmosphere to it. Whereas the final third of the song I felt had elements of Tool and Neurosis, and we get these stacked gang vocals with the line, "There will never be a life for the black hearts." Then it goes down to this breakdown riff that is absolutely awesome. We get repeating of that line pretty much to fade out the song and the album. In terms of a score for this album, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. The songs are incredible and it's pretty much consistent throughout. I did find on subsequent listens that some of the songs in the back half of the album didn't quite hold my attention as much on repeated listens. But overall, this album is absolutely fantastic and comes highly recommended. The riffs and solos are stunning. The bass work is on point. Hossein does a fantastic job behind the kit. But for me, the real standout for this is Joe on the vocals. I just think he does such a great job. I mean, the band are phenomenal. Will Putney does a fantastic job on the production. The drums do sound a little triggered. A bit too triggered. There are times where you do pick up on it a bit too much, but other than that, the production sounds absolutely fantastic. But yeah, Joe is just amazing throughout. There's real passion in his voice, whether he's doing the death growl, the guttural growls, or the clean singing. He just really emotes whatever he's singing about. He clearly feels it. You can feel what he's singing, and it's It's just great. It's very easy for a lot of reviewers, I think, to try and find negatives in albums for the sake of trying to make a review a little more interesting or whatever, but in all honesty, I couldn't really find too many with this album. It was just great. I mean, this is a band who are on top form, and I, for one, am really looking forward to see where they go in the future. This was a fucking great album. I mean, what, we're 2 weeks in to the year, and we've already had a batch of great albums already. Will the Run last week. There's a couple of great death metal ones that came out. Phaedrus, I really enjoyed. This album is great, and I've got another couple of reviews for you guys as well. I don't think they're going to be big reviews like this one. I think maybe I'll sort of cover a couple of albums in one video. But there's quite a few albums I've been listening to this week that I've also enjoyed, so I'll let you know about those. So there you go, that's my thought on the album, and yeah, I highly recommend that you go seek it out yourself. It's just, oh man, really great. In terms of what I've got coming up next, I know that Korn have just dropped a new single from their upcoming album, so I think I'll probably do a reaction video to that, because I will be reviewing that album, so it's a great way to, you know, sort of get us into it. I don't think it's too long before that album comes out, maybe a month away, if that at that point. I'm not sure at that point. As I said, I like to do a video of all the other albums that I've listened to this week, and I've got a CD collection update video, which I filmed, but I haven't got around to editing yet, and I've also got my, as I keep going on about it, my 20-ish albums that meant a lot to me during my teens. I really think you guys are going to enjoy that video. I know it's up to me to get it out to you, but, you know, give me a break. Anyway, I'm just looking at the timer in this video, and man, I've been going on a lot today. So, well, I was going to say I'll let you go, but basically I want to go. I'm done. All right, I'll see you later. Bye. I've got to come back here. I only went over there. I was just trying to be dramatic. I'll see you later.